I ain't recording a whiz-ow. Chat. What I got to say today? I don't even know what I got to say today. I just ain't talking a minute, so I'm gonna just try to let me see, what can I do? Let me see. Alright. This is what I'm about to do. I'm about to bing bong this. I'm about to
Yeah. And how are
all right. This is what we're gonna learn about the PayPal Mafia. If you don't know who the PayPal Mafia is, then you're gonna learn. And you're gonna know about Elon Musk and his humble beginnings. You heard? So let's see.
who are the PayPal Mafia, and how are they linked to apartheid era South Africa?
Well, they're a group of men who are at the top, the founding of PayPal, all of whom, in some way or other, grew up in South Africa as children. You've got Musk himself, who was born in South Africa and lived there, went to high school there until he was 18. Musk's grandfather, Canadian grandfather, had been the head of the Canadian branch of a political movement in the 1930s called Technocracy Incorporated, which in essence wanted to scrap democracy in the United States and Canada and have technocrats rule the country, which might sound familiar. That becomes a de facto fascist party, is banned during the Second World War, and then the grandfather moves to apartheid South Africa, having had no connection to the place, in 1950 because he likes the sound of apartheid. And even Errol Musk says of the grandfather, he was an open neo-Nazi. You got Peter Thiel, who was a co-founder with Musk of PayPal. Thiel was born in Germany, but brought to South Africa as a young child. His father was a mining engineer, lived in Johannesburg, and then moved to Southwest Africa, which was then a South African colony, is now Namibia. And he went to school in Swakopmund, which was notorious as probably the last place on the planet where people still openly greeted each other with Heil Hitler and celebrated Hitler's birthday. He went to a German school there before moving to the United States when he was 10 or 11. You've got David Sachs, who was born in Cape Town. He's big in PayPal and is now Trump's AI and crypto czar. He moved to Tennessee as a relatively young child, but grew up in the white South African diaspora there. And you've got Roelof Botha, the grandson of Pik Botha, the last foreign minister of apartheid South Africa. He was the acceptable face of apartheid. You'll remember he used to run around the United States trying to put a gloss on how they were reforming things and that everything was getting better. So you see those four key people at the top of PayPal, and they all have this, very intimate connection to South Africa.
Who?
So the things that you think are so organic, they never organic. It'd be mad GMO and everything. You know what I mean? You think people just are these geniuses that pop out of nowhere with these novel ideas that, go from payments to going to space and all these things. But, it's never like that. People's plans being implemented for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And if you don't do the due diligence, you don't do the research, you never understand that. And then you look at things like, damn, why can't I break through this glass ceiling? Like, what's going on? And you realize, like, you're just not in the club. That's just what it comes down to. You're not in the club. So, I think it's interesting seeing these little things on social media. So when y'all get a chance, man, go look up PayPal Mafia, okay? Something I've been knowing for some years now. One of my good people sent it to me. Yeah, y'all know Peter Thiel, y'all know all these people, man. Y'all know all these folks. Reid Hoffman. See, look. All right, let's see. PayPal Mafia. Let me bring it up big screen so you guys can see. Okay, PayPal Mafia. Look, it's simple Google search. You don't got to do much. PayPal Mafia refers to a group of former employees and founders of the online payment company PayPal, who later went on to found or play key roles in other successful technology companies. This group, known for their entrepreneurial spirit and close ties, includes notable figures like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Reid Hoffman. Here's a more detailed look. Okay? So the Mafia includes prominent individuals like Elon Musk, co-founder of PayPal, Tesla, and SpaceX, Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal and founder of Palantir. Y'all know who Palantir? Like Palantir is? Okay, Palantir, a software company specializing in big data analytics. If y'all know Palantir, a lot of government contracts do there. Look it up. Like I want people to start looking things up because people just accept what the highlights say or what the news says or what, but you don't ever look things up. So it like a simple Google search can help all that. All right. The successor companies from PayPal, SpaceX, LinkedIn, which is co-founded by Reid Hoffman, YouTube, um, Jawed Karim, who was an early employee at PayPal, Tesla, obviously, Palantir, Affirm, another payment system by Max Levchin. He's a PayPal co-founder. Yelp, I guess he was an early PayPal employee. Jeremy Stoppelman, Slide, Max Levchin. I'm not too familiar with Slide. Kiva, I'm not too familiar with that. Yammer, I'm not too familiar with that. All right. But yeah, these are like companies that blossomed out of PayPal, and then one might ask, like, no, these are just, brilliant people with novel ideas and resources in order to make this idea that just, came in their mind and make it tangible and, put the pieces in place to make it a formidable company and a platform. But then there's another side, like, was it supposed to happen that way? Like, was it orchestrated to happen that way? Which is, pretty interesting. It's just something to think about. Because one could also say, like, these same people tried tons of different companies that may have failed, but these are the ones that did well. With the serial entrepreneurship, that's kind of like the trajectory of what kind of happens. But I don't know. It's a good question to ask. Like I always ask, like who's doing this? Why are they doing this? Why are they trying to make me think this? So, like I'll end up going into the rabbit hole a lot, with that type of stuff. Like you even learn about like let me see, the Netflix founder. Let's see. This is something interesting too. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, right? They initially launched Netflix as a DVD by mail rental service, inspired by Hastings' experience with late fees at a video store. The company later expanded into streaming, becoming the media giant it is today. So everybody loves Netflix. Netflix and chill, Netflix, woo, we all love Netflix, right? Okay, Netflix founder. Let's see. I think it's his grand uncle, right? Is that grand uncle? Let me see, uncle. Okay. And this is when it gets interesting. When you start to look deeper down the rabbit hole, and I might do this a little bit more often because people don't be doing this, and I be taking it for granted. Okay, Mark Randolph, one of the founders of Netflix, has a great uncle who was Sigmund Freud. If you know who Freud is in psychology and the famous psychoanalyst, specifically, he is the great nephew of Freud. Randolph's other great uncle, Edward Bernays. If y'all know Bernays, he's the godfather of PR. He's the one that made up the American breakfast, which was eggs, bacon, and toast. He made people do that. He was one of the forefathers in creating the ad campaign that allowed women or that induced women to start smoking cigarettes, because cigarettes used to be just a thing that men used to do. Just smoking used to be just a man's way of just a male activity. But then he linked it with like the women's suffrage movement, and I guess he coined it like, you light your torches of liberty or whatever the case may be, and then women just started smoking, and they started to double the tobacco industry, double, tripled, quadrupled, their profits by getting them included. But like, think about that. Like Mark Randolph, co-founder of Netflix, his great uncle was Sigmund Freud, and his other great uncle was Edward Bernays. These are people who are integral parts of just the psychology movement and just formulating how people think. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that. This is something I've known. But now, like, when you go and you watch your Netflix and you see what's on your top 10, or you see what the algorithm kind of suggests, it kind of poses you to think, why do you want me to watch this? Why do you want me to think this way? Why are you programming me for something? That's kind of how my mind works. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. I don't really got too much. You know what I mean? I think I might just do these little tidbits. And I'm gonna get back to streaming, but streaming be annoying, bro. Cause it'd be like, yo, damn, I gotta talk for how long? But these little, 10-minute segments be doing me. I